Good morning. I hope everyone's doing well. This is Wednesday morning, August the 14th, and I'm excited about this. So it's 7 a.m. local time. Feel free to put in your questions, put in your comments. If you ask any questions, I'm happy to receive them, address them, answer them here. I'd like to start out this video with something that happened to me this week. Actually, late last week. I was sent, so I spend no time on Facebook Messenger. I spend extremely low time. I have other people manage my account for me in many ways. If I need to address something, I will. But every once in a while, I'll see a message. And last week later on, I saw a message from somebody who said, "Hey, would you like to be part of this new opportunity?" I don't even know exactly what she said, but it was basically along the lines of, "Hey, your life will become better and everything will change if you take this opportunity." And this is somebody that I don't know. I'm not sure how we even became friends on Facebook. Maybe I need to manage that a little bit better or something. But I think that we met at an event at one point in time. So she's spamming me, and the problem with this, we all get spammed, and you know what? It's a part of our life. It's a part of our email. It's a part of being online in any way, shape, or form. And you know what? I'm actually okay with that. I'm okay that spamming is going to happen. Having said that, there are so much better ways to connect with somebody. I responded to her. I usually don't respond to spam type things. And I said, "Hey, listen, you're a friend on Facebook. I know that we've met, so I'd be willing to help you out with this a little bit. Know that I'm an executive coach. I do business coaching. I do this kind of stuff, and I'd like to help you by giving you a few tips. How you come across is really spammy, and when you come across really spammy, you're going to have a very low hit rate. I mean, you'll get some people, but you're also going to offend a ton of people. And when you offend people, when people are offended when they think about your business, they tend to interact with you far less. They tell their friends about you. People will complain about bad things far more than they'll talk about great things in their life. That's kind of the culture that we live in. So giving her a few tips, saying, "Hey, listen, if you want to chat about this, I'm fine with chatting with you." And I wasn't spamming her. I wasn't telling her that I was going to work with her. That I only work with people that I really like, and somebody who's this far off, typically I'm going to be careful with, right? So I sent out this message to her, which I usually don't do. She sent a message back and said, "Listen, I've learned from the best." She was kind of defensive and said, "Obviously this doesn't work for you, but you're going to miss out on a chance of a life." And she started spamming me again, which I was fascinated with. So I haven't responded back. I won't respond back. I unfriended her. I don't want those kind of people in my life, right? So what is a better way? If you're trying to build your business, if you're trying to grow your business, if you're trying to get in touch with people and get to know them, whether it's online or in person, this person was from the US, I'm from Canada, it doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter how you're doing it as far as platform or medium that you're using. What matters the most is how you communicate with people. This individual had no clue what I want, where my business is at, what I'm interested in, what I'm curious about in life. All she was doing was spamming me with her business. Now, if she had asked me a couple of questions, and I had actually seen these questions going on Messenger, if I'd seen these questions and she'd sent them in, I may be willing to answer them. If they're respectful of my time. There's no way that I'm going to waste my time with spamming. It's not going to happen typically, unless I'm going to try to help them in different ways. Get away from that, okay? Because I believe that you don't have to spam ever in order to build your business. So what are some ways you can do this? Number one, ask questions. If you are asking good questions of people, if you are consistently asking questions of people, what you will start to see is it engages people on a completely different level. How many times have you been asked, "What do you do for a living?" And what's your response? That's a normal question. We have an automatic response to it, but there are even more automatic responses we have in life. If you go to a store front and somebody asks you, "Do you need help with that?" or "Can I help you with anything?" That's a very common question. Because we're asked common questions all the time, we have typically automatic responses. So I'd be curious to know, with you watching this, how many times have you responded by simply saying, No, that's okay. I'm simply looking, or that's okay. I'm simply window shopping. That's a really common response. So we have these automatic responses to automatic questions, the questions that we hear over and over again. So if you want to change the way your business is perceived, the way you communicate, the way you engage with somebody, you're going to have to ask different questions. For example, if somebody came up to you in a store and instead of asking you, "Can I help you with anything?" which again, it's a useless question. Everyone asks that. Instead, if somebody said, "Hey, are you looking for female or male shirts? Are you looking for you yourself, or are you looking for somebody else?" That's a completely different question. Because it's different, I will engage with that more, and you will too. If you were asked that by the average sales personnel in a store, what's going to happen is you are more likely to give an answer. As soon as you give an answer, if somebody asks you another intelligent question in response to that, you are more likely to engage with somebody. And all humans are like this. I spent a little bit of time with somebody who was a delightful human being yesterday, and we were asking each other questions. Something that I was fascinated with her was that as soon as I met her at a business networking event. She asked me some really good questions, and I noticed this. She stood out in my mind because she asked great questions, and so I was paying more attention to how she was doing her business, and I asked her some questions about business. Anyway, we've started this coffee. We've got a couple of coffee meetings, and we're getting to know each other to see whether we can help each other in each other's business. That happens because of questions. That happens because somebody's interesting. If you are not interesting to somebody, they will not engage with you long term. It's not going to happen. So if you want to engage with people, if you want to sell a service, if you want to have a different meeting, here's the plan that I'm going to spread out for you. So people talk about elevator pitch. I get it. Yes, it's a good thing to have something to say when somebody asks what you do, but it's far more engaging to ask somebody else questions about themselves. And then if they do ask you what you do, you can tailor what you do to potentially what they need or to the network they might have. Often if somebody asks me, or I ask a few questions of somebody, and I quickly realize this person doesn't fit my niche. This is not my ideal client in any way, shape, or form. But they might know somebody. Well, now if they ask me what I do, I might say something completely different. So for example, instead of telling them about my coaching, what I might do is I might tell them about speaking events. I say, "Hey, listen." So let's say I meet a mortgage broker. What I'd say is "Hey, listen, I am a coach, but I love speaking engagements. So if you've got a brokerage that needs help with having someone come in, I'll come in for free. I'd be happy to help out for an hour or so and speak on this subject, or what kind of subjects are you guys struggling with, or something like that." Again, asking more questions, I know what somebody needs more. As soon as I know what somebody needs more or what fits them, I can now engage with them in a completely different way and tailor what I'm saying to their needs. Okay, so that's the first part. If you are going to work towards marketing, if you're going to work towards business, ask fantastic questions. Now, there's certain platforms that are difficult to do this on. For example, Facebook. If you put in a Facebook ad, it's very, very difficult to ask questions in a Facebook ad. The reason why is they have very strict discrimination policies with their ads, which is fair. That's not a bad thing. So most of the time you can ask great questions. Most of the time in your marketing, you should be asking great questions. Until you're asking great questions, you're not doing two things. One, you're not engaging the people around you. And secondly, you're not getting to know them and what their needs are, okay? Of course, there are going to be different platforms and the ways you do this. So second step, first ask great questions. Second step to setting up a marketing system that's going to grow your business is to think of marketing like dating. Think of marketing like dating. The first time you meet a potential prospect, it's like meeting somebody for the first time. Let's say you're a teenager, your 20s or 30s or whatever. I guess I won't put a late age limit to it because anyone can date at any age, right? But let's say go back to the time where you were dating, whenever that was, whatever stage of life you were in. If somebody would have come up to you before you know them at all and would have said, "Hey, I really like you. Do you want to get married?" There's a word for that in English. It's called creepy. If you are throwing yourself on somebody and asking for a full commitment from somebody for a certain period of time, that's creepy. That's the way it is in North America or Western countries in general. So I think it's a people thing as well, right? There might be certain cultures that are a little more open or a little more close to this. So the second step is view marketing like a dating process. If you meet somebody for the first time and they're interesting, schedule a first date. Schedule a first date. Not a wedding, a first date. Now, in that first date, if you are interesting, if you bring, this is how dating works, if you bring enough value to the table, that other person will be very interested in having a second date. So set up a second date. Now, it depends on your business. It depends what you're doing. If you've got a service or product that is really inexpensive, if you're selling stuff that's $5, $10, $50, then listen, you don't have to go through this long, extensive dating process. That's completely inefficient for you, okay? Having said in person, having said that, even online, think of things as a dating process. You want to engage with people a number of times, multiple times. So the first time you meet somebody in person, if you're selling a larger service, you can get to know them and add value. If it's online, if you're marketing online, what you need to be doing is saying, how can I bring value to this person? And how can I bring enough value that they're going to come back another time? How can you do this? Well, there are funnels. There's something called funnels when it comes to marketing. But you can do this online marketing, you can do this with social media, you can do this with your website, you can do it in multiple ways. What you're going to do is you're going to have some kind of value proposition, so something that you bring value to people, something that has value. And then you're going to end it with a call to action of, hey, listen, if you enjoyed this, sign up for my newsletter. Hey, if you enjoyed this, come to my next Facebook Live, like I'm doing Facebook Lives right now, or come to my next whatever it is. When you have a call to action at the end, then people who see value will engage with you more. People who do not see value. So if you've got 1,000 hits on some kind of Facebook post or whatever it is, and then nobody responds to the call of action, you can really quickly understand that it's one of two problems. Typically, it's either going to be you're not bringing enough value, so people aren't interested in coming back, or your call to action wasn't specific, or maybe it was too vague. Maybe it wasn't the call to action that's appropriate. But again, ask for that second date. Ask for that third date. You can do this with an online funnel. So you've already got an opt-in page. So maybe you've got an opt-in page that gets somebody's email and contact information. You're going to send them something. Make sure that has a lot of value, because then they're willing to click and say, I'm willing to engage with you a little bit more. After that, you are going to engage with them again, bring value again, have another call to action. That is a normal relationship. A normal relationship is where we bring value to somebody, we connect, we like them, they like us, and we plan another time to connect. That's it. That's as simple as marketing can be. So I'm going to summarize this. This is going to be a really short one today, and I'm going to have a call to action as well. Two things as far as summary goes. One is that nobody likes spamming. So think of marketing as a little bit like a dating relationship. You're not going to ask for a marriage proposal right off the bat. What you're going to do is connect with somebody and bring value to them, and hope that leads to a next connection, a first date, a second date, a third date. If they like you long enough into the future and you've provided enough value, they will want to get into a relationship with you. They will want to buy your services or product. So that's one thing that's really important. The second thing is ask great questions. The better you become at asking great questions, the more you engage your audience. And here are some of the secrets to asking great questions. Number one, make sure that they're open-ended. If you're asking somebody very specific questions that are closed-ended, what I mean by that is if you're asking people questions that are yes or no answers. We ask these to children all the time. We were terrible with asking questions to children. Did you like school today? Well, that's a loaded question. What's your favorite color? That's a loaded question. What's your favorite subject in school? That's a loaded question. Those aren't fun questions to answer for adults or kids. So learn to ask open-ended questions. An example of it is, what did you enjoy most about your day today? Not even attached to school. What did you enjoy most about your day today? What stood out to you? That's open-ended. Now somebody can take it where they want to go. And they're not pigeonholed to answer red or green, because that's difficult for people. Ask open-ended questions, engage with people. The second thing is, once you ask for the first question, ask a second question that follows up on that. So instead of asking random questions, what do you do for a living? Oh, what do you do for free time? Oh, what? keep them connected. As a really quick example, I'll give you this. Let's say you ask somebody, hey, what do you enjoy? What are you trying to get out of this event? Let's say you go to a networking event or a weekend event. What are you hoping to get out of this event? And so first of all, somebody's going to engage with you on a completely different level, because that's not something people ask generally. So now somebody's going to give you a better answer. When they give you that answer, they might say something like, you know what, I hadn't thought about that. That's a really good question. And you go, thank you. This is great. I'm asking good questions. And they say, you know what, I think that I'm simply trying to figure out what my purpose is right now. I'm a little bit lost in business. I'm trying to figure out what is the one thing that I need to focus on. And maybe you can follow it up by saying, well, what has been your focus thus far? Or what are some of your goals? Now you're going deep quite quickly. Now that might seem a little bit creepy again. It's not. Most people want to talk about themselves. Most people want to talk about their business, especially if they're talking to somebody who's asking intelligent questions, okay? So think about it like a dating process. Ask great questions. Here's my call to action. I'm going to be starting to do these Facebook Lives every single Wednesday morning, 7 a.m. Mountain, 9 a.m. Eastern, because it's a time either before work or at the start of work where people can engage a little bit. These are not going to be super long for the most part, but I'd love to engage with you on this. If you have any questions about what I'm asking, if you have any thoughts or you have any feedback, if you have any challenges to what I'm saying, I'd love to interact with you online here as I do these. The way I come up with the ideas for the subjects is from my daily life. So as I'm coaching people, I have people ask me certain questions consistently. And those questions that I get asked a lot, I'm going to try to answer those questions on this platform to help people more. So that can go into a bunch of different ways. I'm an executive coach, so it's often my practice goes in a bunch of different ways. Here's what I'd like you to do. Here's a call to action. If you want to receive these, if you want to be on these Facebook Lives, then like this post, whether you're watching it live or whether you're watching it later on. Like this post and know that will allow you to see more of them in the future, or at least Facebook with their algorithms will point you in the right direction more of the time, okay? What that also does for me, and I appreciate this, is it spreads the word a little bit on my end. It spreads it to your networks and your audiences. So if you're afraid to be associated with me, don't do this. But if it's something that's helpful, I appreciate the help on my end as well. Okay, so like it, put a thumbs up, whatever you want to do in order to post this. I also have an event a recurring event right now that I've posted on my Facebook page. So Mark Frentz Coaching, and feel free to throw out that as well. Share that event to your page. I'm going to share it to my personal page. I'm just starting these things up. I'm hoping they have a ton of value for people. So again, I'm going to go with feedback. If you tell me that these are valuable, I'm going to do them more. If you give me direction on what is most valuable, I'll give you that more, okay? Enjoy the week. This is kind of your hump day. This is the middle of the week for most people. Enjoy the week. Make this day fantastic. I'll see you guys next week.